this is Amy from moonmindology.com, and today I am talking about Brexit, the King, Rishi Sunak, the United Kingdom. Not necessarily Brexit, I call it the Brexit chart. So I want to have a look at the next 6 months for the UK, and we have a few charts to look at here. So I think there is some kind of symbolism as well in the title of this video, and I'm just not quite sure what it is. Of course, if you didn't know, Rishi means sage, and I believe that is in Sanskrit. And you think of kings and sages in the same importance, but with slightly different jobs. And I think there is some kind of omen here. I just haven't figured it out yet. But for the record, I'm not a particularly big fan of either of them, unfortunately. But let's get into it. So let's start off with Rishi Sunak. So on the 1st of January 2024, Saturn opposes his Mars. So there could be some kind of scandal around his career, and this combination can even bring endings. This is the 8th and the 2nd houses, which are linked to money, taxation, mortgages, and of course, banks, which he knows all about. But I don't think that this will be that great for interest rates, and the public may be unhappy. We could have some problems, or people could be short of extra cash around this time, and this in turn can affect the economy. And then 17th of April 2024, Jupiter aspects Saturn. Now Jupiter, it has an expansive property, and Saturn is the natural character for land, civic organisation, things that are underground. But there could also be a heat wave when I'm looking at all of this. So we could be looking at more control from the government as well. But remember, Jupiter is about litigation, and he is the guru. These are authorities. So Jupiter is giving authority to things that are underground, like coal and oil. So in some respects, the cost of resources can go up. But this is the second house of food as well. So we're looking at a potential increase of food prices again. But on the other side of this, the UK could start producing some of their own stuff. That would be a good use of this aspect, but will they do it? Probably not. 22nd of April 2024. Now Jupiter aspects Mercury here. So these two planets are about education, learning and travel. And as Mercury is in the 10th house of leaders, governments and royalty, we are looking at this area being a focus. Mercury is the media, countries surrounding the UK, the postal service and public transport. So there could be some kind of laws and expansion in this area. It also occurs in Aries, so there could be some kind of quick legislation or changes that come into force that people can't oppose. Then again, there can be links to military as well. So bearing this in mind, there can be some kind of communication or presence from the UK military. Because Jupiter is foreign travel, could also be UK military getting involved in some kind of foreign affairs. 25th of April, Jupiter aspects the Sun, and this aspect, personally for me, when I experienced it, was very positive, but I have also seen it be negative for other people. So Sunak's Sun is so strong, it starts to become a little bit unstable in my view, but I could be wrong. So he could have a glowing and wonderful career during this time, and the national trade will be perfect and wonderful. But Aries is impulsive, and it's related to the military. 10th is leaders and authority, and the Sun is also, the same thing. So this is very forceful, and we could see something's out of control. However, the leader could make opportunities, and we could see an increase in national trade and the value of our currency. 28th of April. My oh my, that's a busy month. Uranus transits Mercury, and now we move into Uranus transits, and this can create sudden change, unrest, public travel that is electric as well, so there could be some upgrades to that. So with Mercury, this is all about your intercity travel as well as media. So think of Mercury as, you know, how information circulates, and this is still in the 10th house, so this is about authority as well, so quick circulation of information. And with Uranus, that can be, you know, Uranus and Mercury, that can be social media on the internet as well. So there could be messages going out amongst the people. 9th of May, Uranus transits the Sun, and the Sun is involved in this. So we could have sudden changes in leaderships because, you know, there's also a lack of confidence as well. So there could be a sudden change to law or revolts against the leader during this time. So moving on now to the next chart, the Brexit chart. 6th of Feb 2024, Jupiter aspects Ketu. Now, Jupiter is in the 8th house and it aspects the 4th with Ketu. So Ketu is about illusions, confusion, fear-mongering, illegal immigrants, conspiracy, fire, and all that jazz. The 4th house is about land, weather, and property. In Sagittarius, we're looking at law, justice, migrants, airports, and, you know, your GDP per capita. And we could be looking at another push of problems with illegal immigrants, as well as confusion around land and housing these people. As the 8th house is involved as well, there could be more scandal about it. And this transit will be especially powerful as Brexit is in the grand cycle of Ketu. I wouldn't usually look at aspects to Ketu, but seeing as it is in the Dasha of Ketu, this is significant. Will anything happen? I don't know. So, because I haven't had the greatest results in using Ketu, so we'll see. 14th of March 2024, Jupiter aspects Jupiter. So Jupiter being involved, there could be a rush of people potentially being given passports and nationality. And this is great for the lawyers. And there's a growth in the religious community as well. Then we have 5th of May 2024, Jupiter aspects Saturn again, and like before this we could see an increase in the price of commodities that are associated with Saturn, but it can also bring more heat waves. As this is involving two really positive houses, this could be some element of improvement, but there could be more investments in stocks, more immigration, imports, and more people going to university as well. So 17th of July, Jupiter is aspecting the Sun, and the Sun in the Brexit chart is not as strong as Rishi Sunak's, and it has some negative qualities to it. And as long as this chart is active, we will have problems with leaders, and the leaders could be especially oppressive and authoritarian during this time, and there could be a change in leadership as well. Jupiter is not in business to bring loads of happiness and joy for the most part on this chart, unfortunately. So don't look for that. I won't be. So then we move on to King Charles. What are his transits for this year? So 15th of January. Sorry, I couldn't remember what the first month of the year was for a moment. So Jupiter Try this again. So then we're moving over to King Charles and look at his transits for the next 6 months. So first off, we've got 15th of January 2024, Jupiter transits over Rahu, and this can be very powerful as he's in the cycle of Jupiter and it's in the 10th house, and this is going to be great for his career. So Jupiter, however, does have some evil properties to it. So this can be a time where he does have to work especially hard. And there can be a period where the government funded institutions like the NHS get sung and praised again, and there can also be links to immigrants and handouts and things that impact his career and status. But of course, we do have a very political king in the old UK, and I still think that he should hand over to William, but you know, that's my opinion. Anyways, Aries, you know, this, we're dealing with a lot of knee-jerk reactions as well as potential military action, just because of the nature of Aries. Then 20th of January 2024, Jupiter aspects Saturn. All three charts have this aspect within a very few months of each other, and this is very significant. Both Rishi Sunak and the King, they have Saturn here and in the second house, and it's in Leo, and this is undoubtedly something to do with food, money in your pocket, and mortgages. So naturally, when these people are in power, your money is going to depreciate, and the rich will retain the wealth, and the working population will unfortunately lose out. You know, Saturn hates being in Leo as well, so it's not great for public business, public happiness, or farming. Then on the 30th of January, Saturn opposes his natal Saturn, and this is really restrictive, and it can affect banking as well as the ability to spend. This is very serious, and Saturn, it always isolates, contracts and restricts. So when it's transiting you know, or aspecting Saturn in his transiting Saturn is in his 8th, so this is even more links to taxation, national debt, and even crime. Then in February the 7th, Jupiter opposes Mercury, and again, this is repeated aspect, but the 4th house is also included this time. So this is media, foreign countries, laws, expansion, and this can affect the weather, land, and travel within the cities as well. And this can be a really good time for contract signing, and there can be an element of social freedom here as well. But, you know, both planets have a bit of a negative vibe about them, and Jupiter is really quite impactful. Yeah. And then we've got K2 transiting Venus on the 8th of February, and this transit, it can dampen wealth, happiness, and culture, and there can be confusion, scandal, and bribery that can, you know, potentially be a focus during this time. And this is happening in the house of communications, public travel, and media, and there can be some scandal with personal transport like cars as well. You know what London is like with their laws on people's personal vehicles. So 28th of April 2024, Jupiter aspects the Sun. This is powerful, as this is two planets that are highlighted in the King's Dasha, and this is in the 410 axis, so we can see some impact to his career, you know, public affection, land, house prices, and there can also be some weather changing as well. And, you know, this says to me, hot. 19th of May, just like Rishi Sunak's chart, we're looking at sudden changes in leadership or legislation. The only difference for the King is that his Sun is in Libra, and don't forget, the Sun is debilitated in this position. So this event could stand to impact him more than it does Rishi Sunak. Libra is a sign of public happiness as well, so we could see impacts to this, and there could be also changes in social freedoms. So the UK does have a very eventful year ahead, and personally I don't like the fact that Rishi Sunak and King Charles have very similar charts, and my fear around this is that the similarities between them could make events more likely to happen, and where they're both in power, it's more intense. This is confluence and confirmation, and the more powerful the planetary influence are, and the more clues, you know, the more you can think, oh, might happen. But, you know, disclaimer, astrology can only be said to be right 75% of the time, and even then, you know, you have to be a really good astrologer to predict correctly. And, you know, you don't know how great you are until you consistently make predictions, and, you know, humans are humans, things change, and, you know, you've got free will in play as well. But, you know, even if you get it right, you have to wonder if it is actually a talent or it's just a benefic planet aspecting your 5th house. But thank you very much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Like, subscribe, comment, do the things you do. Thank you very much. You take care. Bye.